In today's video, I watched the top 10 lowest ranked anime of all time. Although the lowest anime of all time is fairly infamous, I bet you haven't heard of the rest. Make sure to stay tuned until the end to figure out the entire list. Now, in order to do something like this, I set a couple of ground rules to at least give the anime a chance to be good. The first rule is that it has to be a TV anime. Without this rule, this list would mostly consist of OVAs and ONAs, which is really not a full anime. The second rule is that the episodes have to be at least 15 minutes. This ensures that the anime has enough time to try and make a meaningful story for each anime and not be random and have nothing to offer. The third and final rule is that I must watch every episode, no skipping is allowed. With that out of the way, we can get started with the list. With a mean score of 5.05, the 10th anime on our list is Genma Wars. Genma Wars is a story which takes place in the distant future, where humankind is enslaved by monkeys. In this cruel world, we see twin boys Luffy and Jin grow up and eventually try to free this world from the evil wizards. This anime immediately set its tone by showing off the twins' mother doing nasty things with the lead wizard and giving birth to the twins. Now, this wasn't a one-off thing for this series. Throughout its 13-episode runtime, you see the twins do nasty things and even more childbirth in it, which is disgusting. Despite this, the anime did have some fairly interesting moments, such as when they traveled into the past, which is similar to our present. However, it's not enough to make this anime worth the watch. In the end, I decided to give Genma Wars a 3 out of 10. With a mean score of 5.03, the 9th anime on our list is Run equals Dim. This is a 3D animated mecha anime taking place in the year 2050, where people are essentially combating over the future of a sunken Japan. This 13-episode anime is the worst thing I have ever seen, from 3D animated versions of classic anime ichi scenes to terrible voice acting. I honestly cannot stand this anime one bit. I know I joked around about the Monogatari series being the worst thing I've seen, but this is honestly far worse. Being an anime with zero redeeming qualities, there is only one score I can give it, which is a 0 out of 10. With a mean score of 5.00, the 8th anime on our list is King's Game. King's Game is based on the Japanese game Kompa, where one person in a large group is appointed as king and gets to give orders to certain players. This anime takes Kompa to the next level when the King's Game gets turned into a survival game, and as the Kompa rules insist, King's rules are absolute. In the King's Game, if you disobey an order, you die. Honestly, with a list like this, King's Game was certainly a treat, with the most likable characters out of any other anime on this list and an interesting story. It's by far the only anime on this list I'd actually recommend people to watch. This certainly is not the best survival game anime. My favorite of that genre is Future Diaries, but in the end, I decided to give it a 6 out of 10. With a mean score of 4.91, the 7th anime on our list is The Thousand Noble Musketeers. Honestly, this anime was super confusing and I don't really get it, but to my understanding this is supposed to be an anime in France. I'm not sure on the era, but their leader's name is Napoleon, so I'm leading that it's supposed to take place in the Napoleonic era since they still use muskets. Right off the bat, my immersion in this anime is killed within the first 2 seconds when a character fires 2 shots out of a musket, a single shotgun. It's then revealed that they can do this because of some royalty power, which in my opinion is just dumb. Throughout this anime, we see each character unlock said royalty power to save the world or something, I don't really know. At the end of the day, this anime is a serious 1 out of 10. With a mean score of 4.88, the 6th anime on our list is My Sister, My Rider. My Sister, My Writer is about a flunky light novel writer discovering that his sister is an amazing writer, but she doesn't want to reveal her identity to the world. In order to release books without revealing her identity, her brother, the MC, volunteered to pretend to be the writer of the novels. Throughout this anime, we see a romance build up between the two siblings as they try and keep the whole ghostwriting thing a secret. Right off the bat, you can tell that this anime was heavily inspired by Manga Sensei, being a story about light novel writers and an incest romance. This anime did have some cute moments, but it's far from the best romance I have ever seen. All in all, I gave my sister, My Writer a 5 out of 10. With a mean score of 4.72, the fifth anime on our list is Dynamic Chord. Dynamic Chord is your standard boy band idol anime. Dynamic Chord follows the main cast as they go around singing emo rock music to the world. In this anime basically nothing happens and it's super boring to watch. For an idol anime, it is horrible in terms of music and fails to capture what makes idol anime good. This anime is like watching paint dry and I would not recommend it. In the end, my final score for Dynamic Chord was a 1 out of 10. With a mean score of 4.62, the fourth anime on our list is Papillon Rose. Papillon Rose is a Sailor Moon type anime where 3 girls each take on powers based on flowers. This anime does feature an OVA which shows the origin story of the powers along with showing why some stuff was cut from the anime, but that's far too ecchi for YouTube and is borderline H anime. Throughout this 6-episode anime, we see Rose and her team fight in a Monster of the Week format building up to its finale. Papillon Rose was far from the worst on this list and has given me an interest in Sailor Moon, so I may check that out in the near future, but in the end, I gave Papillon Rose a 4 out of 10. With a mean score of 4.62, the third anime on our list is Conception. Conception is your standard isekai anime, where a high school student and his childhood friend get transported into a fantasy-type world. The twist with this anime is that in order for the hero, Itsuki, to defeat the Demon Lord, he's got to do bad things with 12 maidens in order to produce children capable of defeating the Demon Lord. This 12-episode anime is absolutely horrendous and the plot is really bad. To make matters worse, the character Mana is probably the most annoying character I have ever seen and makes the anime that much worse. All in all, I gave Conception a 3 out of 10. With a mean score of 3.82, the second anime on our list is Gibiot. This anime takes place in the year 2030 where a mysterious disease known as Gibiot seems to be killing humanity. I wonder why that sounds familiar. This disease turns people into the scariest thing ever, bad CGI models. Within this post-apocalyptic style anime, the writers seem to have added in another twist where the heroes of this story are actually historic warriors from the 17th century. This 12-episode anime shows the main cast try and survive in this cruel world whilst trying to find a cure to the virus. Now this is just my opinion, but Gibiot is probably my second favorite anime on this list, right behind King's Game. The story was interesting and somewhat different from usual post-apocalyptic anime and I really like the characters in this one. One thing to note is that its animation kinda looks like JoJo's but with CGI monsters so it's not the best. But in the end I believe this anime deserves a good 6 out of 10.
Hello, I don't want make it all the fake.
With a mean score of 2.97, the final anime on our list is XArm. XArm is an anime that takes place in the year 2030 where criminals possess weapons of mass destruction called XArms. This anime shows police and detectives trying to collect all the XArms and protect humanity from these threats. Another thing to note is that this anime mixes 2D and 3D together, which some media, such as The Amazing World of Gumball, has proven can look good. However, in this case, it just looks horrible. If you are looking for an anime with a similar plot, you should probably seek out this anime called The Detective Is Already Dead. It's not the best, but it's far better than XArm. The only score I can honestly give XArm is a 0 out of 10. And that's been the top 10 lowest ranked anime of all time. This list has had its highs and lows, but I'm wondering what you guys think? Have you seen any of these anime, or were you aware of how bad these anime were? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and maybe I will watch the top 10 highest ranked anime next time. As always, I love you all, and until next time, bye.